In this short film, we will follow one Teesside CWU branch from picket lines on a cold winter's day, striking in London with thousands of other members from around the country.
Are we going to do that?
We'll hope to gain an understanding of what's happening inside Royal Mail, how it affects every single worker, and how the union is trying to protect its members.
I've worked for Royal Mail for about 27 years and I really used to love my job. I still like it now, but it's changed over the years, and we're striking because of what they're doing to the service. They're destroying the service. It's been a good service. It's helped the community. It's helped us.
My name is Kiki. I'm the unit rep here in Stockton. I've been all over the world, really working. I've worked from. I'm Spanish. You probably get that from my accent. But I've been working here in Royal Mail for 8 years. This is my family, and everybody behind us, the people that support the situation that we're in. It's a bad situation because I'm going to change all the terms and conditions. The cost of living has gone now to 11.5. We can't pay the gas bills. We can't pay. I'm myself a month behind my rent, but we have to keep fighting. We got to keep fighting because if we don't, there'll be nothing left of Royal Mail. I love my job. I love Royal Mail. Work for Royal Mail. We are Royal Mail. They are Royal Mail.
Where is the solution? What to you is the solution? I understand it's a bit of a hard
No, I mean the solution.
You've got to compromise. If we walked away and we had everything we wanted, that wouldn't be right. Manchester walk away, they've got everything they want. That isn't right. You both got to give up a few things and meet in the middle.
Yeah. I mean,
I think that we all know that.
Yeah.
But the very people at the very, very top, they don't see that. They say, no, we want what we want, and that's it.
Now, talking to people on the picket line, we've heard many things when it comes to that. You've also got the nurse strikes coming on now. So do you I've got two questions. Do you think it's across the board issue now, not just communication industry issue? And if it is across the board, is this sort of becoming a class war again that we've had decades ago? Is it all re-erupting?
Well, if you think about it, what industries are left in Great Britain? All the big industries that we had here, they're gone. This Royal Mail is probably the last one standing up. It was privatised 13 years ago, and it's been declining. The way they're managing the company, and I believe what they want to do now is just break it.
Do you think nationalisation is the answer? It's a hard question.
Yeah, that is a hard question.
On the main things like NHS, like Royal Mail, public service, yes.
Done properly, what do you think is the right way to go ahead with nationalisation that would really benefit Royal Mail and benefit people who use it?
Now that's economics, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's economics. What's the best way? Well, people have to come first. Yeah. People wages and people conditions have to come first, because that will be the what would make the company strong. Yeah. In the future, if people are happy and people are looked after, they will give a good service.
Because you've been here for so long, was it? How long was it?
27 years.
27 years.
27 years. Is this, as you said, it's kind of become your life now?
Yeah.
Well, it is our life.
And you don't want to lose what you've got.
No, you know, I've appreciated having a good job here, and I've enjoyed it. And it's definitely changed since privatisation. Before privatisation, it was more of providing a service. Now it's a business that needs to make money. So that's two different.
Which we understand. Money has to be made, and it has.
I understand that, and we've made huge profits.
Yeah.
And we've paid shareholders huge profits.
1.9 billion in the last.
The worry is that I think to keep a service going, you've got to reinvest some of it. You can give some to shareholders, but when you give it all to shareholders and you've got nothing to put back into it for a pay rise or, you know, new vans or whatever.
I mean, just imagine
You've got to balance it all.
Do you believe that a public inquiry into the management of Royal Mail is the only way forward, or do you think there's another alternative?
A public inquiry definitely will throw some light to what's going on behind the scenes, and you know, the potential hostile takeover from Vesa. But the government doesn't seem to be bothered about it at all.
Yeah. But how do you think the public see your strike? Do you think they see it as more of a trivial sort of strike, as you see on some people? Or do you think they see it as you generally fighting for your livelihoods, as we're saying here?
Well, exactly. Well, this is a 500-year-old
I've
service.
seen both. I've seen people saying, "No, back to work. This is ridiculous. You should be glad you've got a job." So some people do think that.
Yes, I do.
But
minority, though.
There's other people who say, you know, like my customers, how's it going? I hope you get what you need. I think it's right that you should have a decent wage. I think they shouldn't take the terms and conditions away. A lot of people supporting you, understanding you. But there are some people who think, well, that's trivial.
Now we've got agency people that Mr. Thompson has decided to put in every office.
Yeah.
And that what's happening is that's affecting the service. We are professional. We care for our job.
Oh, yeah.
We are proud of being a Royal Mail postman and postwoman.
Yeah.
And we like our job. Agencies, they might do, you know, they might want to do the best they can, but they haven't got the skills that we have. We don't understand why we cannot do the job. They won't let us do the job.
On Friday, the 9th of December at 6 a.m, a coach bus with 36 members from the CWU Teesside branch left the Royal Mail depot in Middlesbrough, en route to Parliament Square in London. In London, they will join several thousand members from across the UK to hold the first of many strikes in the run-up to Christmas. We joined this branch on the coach as they made their way down, and this, in their own words, is why they're striking in London.
I don't like being taken for granted by Thompson and his greedy shareholders.
Expose you, all your lies and everything else, because we're just not friends, are we?
Posties and parcel force workers, we're going to come down there and give you the message. The fight's real and you're not going to win.
Just trying to protect a 500-year-old business, so hopefully we'll get somewhere with it.
Who do you want to hear your point more, see Royal Mail or the government?
Both, I would say. Especially the government, because the government have kept out of it. And at the end of the day, it's Royal Mail, it's part of history. And I think the government should be stepping in and doing something about it.
If you had a message to the government, what would you say?
Well, if I had a message for the Tories, we want them out. That's the government, we don't want them in here.
By 12 o'clock, we were off the coach in Westminster. By that time, there were already several thousand members there from around the country, and that kept expanding by the minute.
More than 100,000 postal workers strike over pay and conditions, with more action to follow in the run-up to Christmas.
Tens of thousands of Royal Mail workers went out on strike today in the first of a series of Christmas walkouts over pay and conditions.
This isn't what anyone wanted for Christmas. A walkout from over 100,000 postal workers after a breakdown over pay and working conditions. Their call for a pay rise in line with inflation rejected.
Hello there, it is Friday the 9th of December here in Westminster, London. We are currently on College Green, just outside of the Houses of Parliament. Now we are going to be going down to Parliament Square in a minute just to talk to people who are out protesting for the postal strike. There is going to be a mass demonstration. So we're going to be finding out what the real issues are. We're going to be having conversations with the people who are truly on strike.
My name's Danny Matthews. I work for Parcel Force in Scotland, in Edinburgh.
I'm Gary Clark, I'm branch secretary, Scotland Level 2 branch. From Watford, my name's John Collins.
Steve Austin from Letchworth.
I'm Graham Clough, I'm the branch secretary from the South Yorkshire and District Amalgamated branch.
So, let's go.
As we neared 1 o'clock, the crowd was drawing in, and the Scottish symbol of strength and freedom, the bagpipes, had just begun playing, a telling sign of what was in store in the hours ahead.
Why does this strike matter so much to you?
Why does the strike matter much? The reason why, it has to be done. The cost of living these days is getting a beyond belief. If you look at the whole of December, the nurses are out, the parcel force are out, CWU are out, the firefighters are being balloted, the barristers are being balloted. It's important that we get this message out to this Tory government that they cannot keep on treating us like they treat us.
What do you think is the problem?
What I think is the problem is the inherent board that's not being able to listen to the union, be able to negotiate with the union, and to be able to sit round the bargaining table, and they want to use a dictatorship to actually make it into a gig economy, and they want to make it into like they did with P&O, and this union will not stand like they did to P&O and treat its members like they wanted to. That's why we're all out on strike.
I've come here to the march because I feel strongly about what is going on with the situation. It's come to this point where we have to march and show us strength and congregate this particular day. So it's been hopefully a good turnout so far.
How do you feel what's happening is affecting the workers?
It's actually, in a way, the turnout has been immense. It's been incredible because we've had a majority vote for the yes vote. So the morale, we've got the momentum and we're carrying on the morale. So the workers are united and they feel strong and they feel they're fighting for their particular cause. So that's a good reason to carry on.
As our interviews began, so did the speeches.
We've got a cause here that is absolutely the right cause. For you as workers, for your families and for the service we provide. Are we on the side of postal workers? Yeah! And listen, can I say, and this rally today demonstrated, the mood is changing. Why don't we run the company?
Strike matters to you?
Strike matters to me because it's with the future. It's not just me, I'm getting older now. I'll be in the job in a few years' time. So it's the future generations to come to have decent terms and conditions, decent wages, and for us not to be living in poverty. Because the members, I know members up in the country are going to food banks now. That's disgraceful when the CEO are millionaires and we're going to food banks.
See, I can see you're very passionate about this. Is this, see, to most people, they'll just be seeing it as a point of just their pause, getting it through the door. But to you, it's your livelihood, isn't it?
I've missed that, sorry.
It's your livelihood, really, isn't it?
It's my livelihood. I'm a postal worker. I'm paid 35 hours a week. I'm only 55 now. I've got another 10 years while I work. And they want to get rid of us.
How long have you been a postal worker for?
I've been 26 years.
26 years. In 26 years, have you had something such as positions such as bad as what we're in now?
This is the worst I've ever seen it. I've been on strike before, numerous strikes over the years, but this is the most anti-union management we've ever had. And it's a class battle. They represent interests of big business, interests of capital. We represent interests of the ordinary working class postal worker.
Why does this strike matter to you?
It matters to me because I've been a postman now for coming on 19 years. And I've never seen anyone with the board that we have at the moment and what they're doing at the moment is unbelievable. They're taking away all our terms and conditions. They're trying to offer, say, oh, we'll offer you 9%, but in the realistic terms, when you look at what they're offering us nothing. They're taking away our AM delivery service, so we'll actually be worse off in the end. But it's just unbelievable, everything what's going on, and we're fighting for our jobs, you know. Compulsory redundancies are on the loom, but why are they doing that when they've currently got 11 to 15,000 agency staff in there? So all they want to really do is to take on extra people, pay them less terms and conditions, and everything else really.
Now, it was privatised in the last 20 years.
Yeah.
Now, do you think that is the problem?
It's definitely one of the problems, yeah, and I'll tell you why it's the problem. It's because we've got shareholders, and I say about 80% of shareholders don't even live in this country, and they're currently taking all the money. You know, they're announcing £750 million profit, yet 600 million have been taken to shareholders. You know, it seems like shareholders are the only thing now that are important.
Do you think you have public support?
You know what, I think we do at the moment, as you can see at the moment, you know, the crowds that we've got here, people cheering us, people tooting us, of course the public are behind us. But the public need to know what's really going on behind the scenes and everything with Royal Mail. So yeah, I definitely think they're behind us.
And this is my last question. How's morale keeping up?
You know what, morale has been quite low in offices, particularly in my office in Letchworth. But when you come to a place like London and we're all together like this, the solidarity between everybody is amazing, and it makes you feel a part of a real team and a part of a real group. So yeah.
So why do you think this strike is important?
It's important because our members are telling us it's important. They've told us it's important by returning a 97.8% yes vote out of an 80-odd% return. So it's to our members, it is important, and it's important because they don't want to lose their jobs at the end of the day.
What have the members been saying to you?
The members have been telling me that they're not bothered about the pay deal, they're more bothered about the terms and conditions, especially the compulsory redundancy, because some of them are fearful for the job.
What do you think the issue is? Your issue?
My issue personally would be the no compulsory redundancy part, because like I said, that's a big issue for me. You've got other people where they're turning around and saying the sick absence is an issue, because of course if they go on the sick absence, part of Royal Mail's plan is if you have sick absences, you could go on the list for compulsory redundancy.
Do you think the main bulk of your issue is going to be struck?
No, and I don't expect it to, because out of any negotiations it's a give and take, and sometimes as a union we've got to give a bit, but in return we expect them to do the same, not just taking this dogmatic approach that they're doing at this moment in time.
What is the way forward then?
The way forward is to come up with a sensible agreement that looks after the people whilst they're working and allows those people to leave the job if they wish to leave with decent terms.
Throughout the day, there was one consistent shared thought on display about Royal Mail's shareholders, but more specifically about the CEO, Simon Thompson.
Are we on the side of Simon Thompson? And that senior management team who give themselves bumper bonuses and tell you to take pay cuts and want to casualise our industry and want to put redundancies on the table, are we on his side?
No!
So, as you can hear around us, people are shouting Thompson out, aren't they? Do you think he is the problem?
He's part of the problem, but the main problem is privatisation. 9 years ago they privatised us, and those 9 years, £1.9 billion has been given to shareholders. 1.9 billion. Think that we could have done to our service. Think that we could have done to building schools, building hospitals, and terms and conditions on members.
In 3 words, what would you say to Thompson?
Time to go.
Well, the solution is really we would like Thompson to go, to be honest.
My solution would be to get Thompson out, because he hasn't got a clue how to run this company. I feel like the whole board in themselves, I think there's like 6 people on the top of the board. And I think between all of them, they've not even got 10 years experience in this company. This company's been running 500 years. It means so much to these people, and it's just a way of life that we've had. It's the heritage of this country that we live in. You know, it's unbelievable what they're trying to do at the moment.
That Simon Thompson has got to go.
People are saying Thompson's the issue. Do you agree with them?
I think if Thompson goes, yeah, I'd love to see him go, but who's going to replace him? And that's the main issue. Who's going to step in his place, and are they going to overturn all the things that they've done currently?
If you could say one thing to Thompson in 3 words, what would it be?
Get out. That's it.
Is Thompson the issue?
Thompson is the biggest issue because he has to give you one piece of information, renege on it, and then he won't turn up for any more meetings at all, and he gets his people to come in and talk to the bargaining team, and they don't feed back to him.
If you could say something to Thompson in 3 words, what would it be?
Get to
As we left London and headed back to Teesside, we asked the group about how the day went for them, if they had any final words, and is there anything that they wanted the public to understand or know.
Out! Thompson out!
Today it was absolute tribute. I've served the union for 37 years. My colleagues served it for 34 years. It was a tribute to see how many people, how many members attended from all different places in the United Kingdom.
From Swansea, people from Liverpool.
At Parliament Square, just to show unison in our dispute. Not necessarily picketing, but basically just challenging the hierarchy of Royal Mail Group into thinking that they cannot destroy this 500-year business, which has simply got another 500 years ahead of it.
That's right.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes.
If you had a message to Simon Thompson, what would you say?
Yes, Simon.
F*** off, Simon.
Simon, we've seen who you are. We know your track record, sir. Be a gentleman and put your notice in.
Why are you on strike?
To protect our future. If we were to agree with the changes that the company wants to make, it would make our future with the company invalid, basically, because they want us to work for. Well, our pay isn't brilliant to start off with. It's not like we're mega paid like the train drivers. I know you shouldn't bring them into it, but it's not like we're already paid really high, but they want to reduce our pay, even though they're giving the spin that it's actually a pay rise, but it's actually a pay reduction, and change our terms and conditions, which is not where we started. And yeah, we all get that changes. We have to move forward, and the changes have to happen, but it's bringing all these changes in one fell swoop.
Lots of people have been blaming Thompson throughout all this, and of course, from my interpretation of your opinion, there's still some shred of blame inevitably going to be put onto him. Now the question is, if you could say one thing to him in 3 words, what would it be?
That's hard. I don't know about 3 words. It would be a paragraph. But he needs to climb. He needs to rein it back and just agree to some compromise.
Do you think a resignation is a solution?
A resignation would be a solution.
What you've got to do is not just stick up for yourself. You've got to stick up for the other members. Our 2 reps were off with long-term sick. So, the likes of me and Jacko and Jeanette, we had to step up. You've got to support each other and be there for each other.
Support the union that is supporting us.
Exactly. And that's basically, we've got to stick together.
Yes.
If we don't, then Royal Mail is finished.
Yes, it's done. The job is done.
What would you like the public to know and understand? Because the public don't know what you go through.
Basically, that the company...
Don't support this strike. You will not have this public service that you've had for 500 years.
Yeah. They want us to become another Amazon where basically you sat by the phone in the morning waiting for them to call you to see if they need you to work today. And if they don't, then you're sat at home and no money.
And quality of service will go.
That's right all down. I want.
And that's what. At the moment, they're not bothered about quality of service. I am. I like delivering for my customers.
Exactly.
And I make sure I serve my customers.
And what's your message for the CEO and management and all the other higher ups?
Message for the CEO? Go.
Get out. You have one objective, that is to finish Royal Mail, and we're not going to let you do it. We're going to all stick together.
We're in this till the end.
And you won't break us.
No. Never.
Delivery driver. I've been for 37 years. So the business has gone from being high quality to dreadful, right? And that's mainly because it is a race to the bottom, as the phrase goes. And the new CEO is determined to smash it up.
The lack of quality starts with companies like Every, Hermes and Amazon.
Yeah.
But now do you think it's kind of spreading to Royal Mail?
It's not the Royal Mail 30 or 40 years ago was a high quality business. with standards, very strict standards, and those are deteriorating as a result of the way things are.
How do we stop it?
We need to. The company needs to decide if it wants to be a quality company, delivery company, with all its commitments to the universal service and everything, or whether it just wants to race to the bottom and just scrap the whole, just become junk.
Lots of people are blaming Thompson for all these issues. Do you think it's Thompson's fault, or do you think it's more institutional?
I think it's. I'm not totally blaming him. I think he's been directed. He's got an obligation just to race it to the bottom, maximise junk status. Just get rid of it. Just get his costs right down to nothing.
If you could say anything to Thompson in 3 words, what would it be?
He needs to respect the fact that a lot of people have worked all their lives in the business, and a lot of people actually care about the public. And yeah, he should show more respect.